Got you. With that said, it's the offseason. So with the offseason, there's a ton of things that need to fill time. All right. So a bunch of lists continuously come out, and this time we got another list, the PFF QB ranking. And for y'all don't know, that's a hot topic in Philadelphia.
No question.
Where Jalen Hurts is ranked matters.
Football focus.
Everyone's upset or very happy depending on what that list is. So let's take a look at the list real quick. PFF QB rankings. I want to see what you agree with, what you don't agree with. At first, I'll give you the top 11 because 11 is important to me. 1.
Not 10, but 11.
11.
Why is that? Yeah, I see why it's 11.
Patty Mahomes at 1. Joe Burrow at 2. Lamar Jackson at 3. Josh Allen 4. Jalen Hurts 5, your guy. Jaden Daniels already 6 in this list. Matthew Stafford 7. Justin Herbert 8. Jared Goff 9. Geno Smith 10. And my guy Brock Purdy at 11. Before we get to outside of the top 5, how do you feel about the top 5? A lot of people say Jalen Hurts, especially in Philadelphia, should be number 2, number 3 based on winning the Super Bowl and having success in the Super Bowl. Where would you put him in this list? Do you think they got it right?
I don't. I think he should be at least in the top 3. And the reason I say top 3, everybody gonna say, well, look at the enchantment. Look at how how special an athlete that Jackson is. He's a 2-time MVP, and they say MVP is the most valuable player. Well, I think that he's been screwed from that list a lot anyways. But, looking at this list, it's all about wins. That's what it's about. It's all about wins. And when you look at it, Lamar Jackson to me, Josh Allen to me, may be a superior athlete as far as arm strength and athleticism. But who's the better player as far as winning? It's your purpose inside the framework of that offense, which dictates how good of a player you are. Patrick Mahomes had an inferior team to both the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. But yet Patty Mahomes is able to beat them every time. Head-to-head, the last 3 times that he's played against, Jalen Hurts has played against Patrick Mahomes, he has outplayed him. He split it, though. Actually, I think they're 2-1. They're 2-1. 2 wins to Hurts and 1 win with Patrick Mahomes. But it was a Super Bowl when he did it. But, you look at the last 3 times he played it, Patrick Mahomes got beat twice by Jalen Hurts. Once during the season, and then twice, he beat him once in the season, and then once in the Super Bowl, and then lost him in the Super Bowl. So, you saying the best player, the best player, the best QB, he's went head-to-head with him 3 times, he's beat him twice. Lamar Jackson had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, had a superior roster, got beat by Patty Mahomes. Josh Allen's the same way. So why isn't he up in the top 3? And then Burrow's sitting there. Everybody got to say, Jalen Hurts got the best team, he got the best offense and everything. I ain't trying to hear that, man. You got to be able to go out there and do that and get your team going and lead that team in the right way.
You ain't trying to hear that, but I'm about to give it to you right now.
Give it to me and let me see what you got.
Listen, if here's how I also look at it. Nobody has a team right now. Nobody, right? We're all free agents. If I have a draft, what's the order it's going to be taken in? You're not taking Jalen Hurts before you take those guys. You're just not doing it. Even if you know what you know now, I don't know what offensive line I have. I don't know what running backs I have. I don't know what wide receivers I have. I don't know what defense I have. I don't know anything. I'm starting at 0. I don't know what players I have. All I got to go is I'm going to look at that player and that player's ability and analyze that player. Who am I drafting without knowing any of the other things? I think Jalen Hurts is a situationally great quarterback. And that's no disrespect. I feel that way about Troy Aikman and Terry Bradshaw.
That's huge.
But that's huge, but he has to be in that right situation to reach GOAT status. Everybody else is like, no matter when I draft you,
that right situation
no matter where I draft you, you gonna perform at a different level. I remember when Cam Newton was talking about quarterbacks. I forgot what the names he said about guys basically being a game manager, or I forgot what he said, a superstar special. That's what he was talking about. Not that you're not great at what you do, but I can be great no matter what roster you give me. Pat Mahomes is like, yo, you can give me Juju Smith-Schuster as my best wide receiver. I'm still going to be him. And so all these guys have...
I get that, yeah.
All these guys have to be great. Jalen Hurts is clutch-wise. If you had a clutch list, you know how the NBA has a clutch award?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is getting 2. Right? Because Jalen Hurts clutch, if you do NBA jams, clutch meter is all the way up here.
He's got that gene.
Which I respect it. But they got to get you to that clutch situation. Everybody else is kind of like, yo, I have to be great all the time.
But have they been great all the time?
They have to be great a greater percentage of the time. Like Jalen Hurts has to be great 60% of the time. The rest of those guys got to be great 85% of the time for their teams to win.
He had the worst defense last year. The year before last, he had the worst defense in the NFL. They didn't know what they were running. They didn't know how to run their defense. Yet he won 10 games to start the season off. Not necessarily in a row, but he went 10-1. He went 10-1 with an inferior defense. So
what happened after 10-1? What happened after 10-1?
Oh, they went downhill after that.
He led the league in turnovers in a 20-game span.
Josh is right there with him.
Over Josh Allen. He led the league in turnovers.
No, for that.
So when they say
for that 7-game time, yes. For that 7-game time.
No, over a 20-game span, he led the league in turnovers.
No, I got.
If you could start the first 4 games of this season,
I gotta look that up.
The first 4 games of this season, and you add the season before that, he led the league in turnovers.
And add the season before that.
And guess what they did?
Well,
let's change the offense. This is a running game offense now. You can't do that with the other quarterbacks. No, they would never do that to the other quarterbacks. Change the offense because you can't get it done because you're turning the ball over too much.
That's the fault of the team. That's the fault of the offensive coordinator, not knowing you have Saquon Barkley there and not using him to the best of his ability. You say so. You gonna say those 7 games in which the whole team had checked out, and that's when they had the fair share of the turnovers then. And then you're gonna add those first 4 games when they went 2-2.
Yeah, they count, right?
But then what happened after that?
They had to change the offense because they said you weren't good enough.
It should have been changed in the beginning when you got Saquon Barkley in. As soon as they signed him on the dotted line, it should have been a Saquon Barkley run offense. It took them 4 games to realize that.
But that says something. That says it should have been from the beginning that it shouldn't have been your
Absolutely.
offense, Jalen Hurts. It should have been someone else's offense.
Bro, that's just like if you take Josh Allen and put him with Saquon Barkley. If you don't use Saquon Barkley in that capacity, even with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, you a fool, man.
Listen,
you a fool.
I'm not even because when we clip this up, it's gonna seem like I'm a Jalen Hurts hater. Jalen Hurts is on it. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Jalen Hurts is a really, really good quarterback,
yes.
Right? Like this is no disrespect, Jalen Hurts, and all the Jalen Hurts fans. Don't kill me right now, right? But I look at it like I don't view Troy Aikman better than Dan Marino. You won more. You may have been more clutch. I'm taking Dan Marino. Right, like I don't view Eli, and this may be a bad comparison. I don't view Eli Manning better than Peyton Manning. Eli was a more clutch quarterback who did better in championship games. It's not a knock. Y'all are still Hall of Famers. Y'all are still greats. But I think the situation you were put in matters only when we're talking about individual rankings.
Well, this is not tennis when you got one-on-one. This is not golf when it's one-on-one. This is a team sport when you got 10 other individuals with you on the field at that time. So when you look at that, I can have the strongest arm in the world, but if I can't control that arm or I can't control the narrative that's on the field, it doesn't make a difference. It's more than just going out there and winning games. It's how you control the huddle.
I got you.
He's got that, just like you said, the clutch. That clutch gene is very evident in his makeup.
I don't disagree with any
So
of
that clutch gene brings him down to 3. At least 3.
No way.
At least 3.
Way. If I don't know what the roster is, I'm picking several other quarterbacks before Jalen Hurts. With that said,
then you'll be a non Super Bowl winning guy then.
Who says I'll be a non Super Bowl winning guy?
Well, Josh Allen and
Patrick Mahomes got a Super Bowl, and I'll bet
I said top 3.
I'll bet $100 that Joe gets one and Lamar or Josh get one.
I bet you $100 that they don't get another one before Jalen Hurts. I bet you 100 with that.
We talking about Joe, Lamar, and Josh?
Yes. Da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da.